The Oz Wonderland Chronicles is Dorothy from Oz, Alice from Wonderland. They both have grown up and kind of forgotten about everything. And now as adults, they're starting to see stuff from Oz and Wonderland popping up in the real world, and it starts triggering their memories of everything. So ultimately, they have to go back to Oz and to Wonderland to stop the new witch that's taking power. So it's much more of a sequel to the original books than any sort of like reimagining or anything like that. I started drawing, well, probably as long as I can think back. So at age 3 though, I actually won a local television awards. When I won that award and went on TV and stuff, it kind of gave me a new appreciation for art, I guess, in general. I've always liked drawing. Pretty early on, I decided that that's what I wanted to do. All through high school, I took extra art classes. The big challenges early on for me was I was so ingrained in comic book art that I really had to do a lot of either life drawing or still life, or just perceiving things differently than what I was trying to do as a kid growing up, of I guess doing a little bit more realistic persuasion to my art. As far as inspirations on my art, I've always liked Norman Rockwell. Very realistic depictions of actual people, not just people that are kind of idealized and you never run into on the street. Within the comics industry, Alex Ross, who has now actually over the years become a very good friend of mine, was a very big influence early on. And Joe Jesko, who now has recently actually worked on my book with me. For kids that are trying to get started, there's actually a variety of really good books as far as trying to go in the direction of comics. They still publish a book from back in the 80s called How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way, which is very, very good. My advice, I guess, is just to keep going, practice, 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 and I've heard that so many times as a kid that I got sick of hearing it, but in all actuality, until you do it 1,000 times over, you're never gonna get it exactly the way you want it. So whether it be drawing for 10 hours a day for 2 years before you decide to start on your, drawing a comic book series, for instance, make sure you're ahead of the curve and make sure you know what you're doing before you go put yourself in front of people, I guess. which then is where I wanted to take it with the comic book when it came out. So, getting quicker at it, getting practicing more, drawing more, and it speeds things up a little bit more. So, by the end of the book, I was doing somewhere around like 2.5 to 3 pages a week of artwork, whereas at the beginning of the book, I was doing a page every other week. So getting from point A to point B has been kind of a challenge because I wasn't quite there yet before I started, and I almost wish I had done my own thing for a little bit longer before I took on the challenge of doing a 184-page book. So, but.